is Dwayne with Headwaters Seat Covers. We're going to be installing the 40-20-40 with a non-opening middle bottom for the 2014 to 19 Chevy GMC truck.
All the parts of your seat cover are going to be labeled on the inside front right of each piece. Okay? Keep in note, the driver's backrest is going to have our label on the back side of the seat. Very important, very critical that you install the driver top and the passenger top on the correct side, because we have made an allotment for the airbag. Just like the factory, we sew that airbag seam with a little tiny breakaway thread. If in fact you do get in a crash, all you have to do is wash that seat cover, send it back to us, and we just sew that back up. Couple of helpful pointers to clean any lint or dog hair off of the seat. Just use clear packaging tape. Strip yourself off, probably a 2-foot section, press it into the seat, rub your fingernails into it, peel it off, throw it away, get another piece. You'll clean your whole truck in no time. The other thing you want to do is use extra caution when you're reaching underneath the seat bottoms of this seat. Everything underneath there, all the metal is very sharp, and if it has a moving part, it has grease on it. So when your hands come from underneath the seat, look at them, make sure you don't have a bunch of grease on them. You're going to smear on your pretty seat covers, or you're not bleeding. It's also handy to use a flashlight to see what you're doing. First off, we're going to start off by installing the headrest. They'll be labeled with an H inside the cover. So when I do that, I'll just to make it easy, I'm going to slide this seat front all the way, and then this seat is electric. I'm going to lift it up all the way. What that's going to do is it's going to free up all those moving controls under the seat. Okay, keep this coming forward a little bit. I'm going to stand up on the running board. Cover goes on with the extending Velcro to the front. I put it on just with a sewing motion to get it down somewhat into place. Next, we're going to remove that headrest. We'll do that by reclining the backrest. We have a push button here, then I'm going to lift that up all the way. Then we have a hole in the plastic right here. Reach in. The headrest will slide right on there. You want to make sure that you slide the headrest out evenly coming out. You don't want to pull up left or right, or you could damage the plastic pieces. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the seams of this seat cover to the seams that are on the seat. Now I can feel right here, here's the seam of the headrest, but here's the seam of the cover. So that means I need to push this over. To do so, I just put this thing in between my legs, and I'll just kind of pull it over one way. Okay? Then I'll come back to the front, and I can feel underneath that the seams are properly lined up. The front edge with the hook Velcro simply just gets tucked underneath the back edge with the loop Velcro and pressed together. Okay. Headrest is done. We'll set that aside. We'll move on to the driver's seat bottom. First, the driver's seat bottom goes on, then the backrest. We'll prepare the seat for the installation by removing the small plastic clips underneath the back side of the seat. And again, all your pieces are going to be labeled on the inside right of each piece. Okay, we're going to release the back panel as fastened on with these elastic pieces here. You can feel how they go right up and onto this plastic clip. This is very tough to do, everybody. You got strong fingers, so when I released that, what I did is I just pushed my thumb like this underneath it to help release the clip up, and then just push that forward. So that'll release the back side of it. If you do have any debris, if it's truck's been used a while, you want to make sure you sweep everything off from the back side, and make sure we clean that seat up. Okay, we're going to install the driver's bottom again. You're looking at the seat cover this way. Very small letters on the inside right, you're going to see DB. We have a parts ID list that we send with every seat cover, so you'll be able to identify all the parts. So first thing you want to do is just carefully take the Velcro off the back edge. Now you notice these two little buckles. We're going to use these later in the installation. We'll just take those off and then set those behind the seat. Let's just continue to open up the Velcro carefully. we're going to lay the seat cover on with the loop Velcro to the back side. What I'll do is I'll just tuck it over that inside edge first. And as you notice, what I'm trying to do here is I'm working the seat cover material, I'm working that outward. Okay, so where the two pieces of the seat cover are sewn together, there's material on the inside. And I want to force that material to the outside part of the seat cover. It just makes it fit so much nicer. Okay, so we've got that side. Just like the inside, I'm also going to work that seam on the outside edge. So where the material is sewn together, I want to put it to the outside. It'll just make that fit so much nicer. Right now I'm going to just start working that seat cover back into position, and what you want to do ideally is we want to line up the seams of the seat cover to the seams that are on your original seat. Okay, we're going to tuck in the plastic here, work that seam in, continually pull this back, and I'll tuck this in. That'll really help kind of hold that seat cover in position too. Okay, keep coming back. Gets tucked under right there. Okay, I'm going to make sure that seat's lifted all the way up into the ceiling for the electric controls. We'll run her ahead a little bit. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to fold this Velcro in half lengthwise with the sticky facing in. Okay, what that does is it stiffens that Velcro up kind of just like a ruler. Makes it easy to route underneath the seat. These things have to route exactly where they're sewn on. And they're going to route underneath the seat. So on this one, we've lifted the seat away from the electric controls, and the Velcros have to go in between the two. Keep them up. We want to make sure we're not interfering with any wires or any kind of the seat's mechanism. So all I do is just simply poke my head underneath. Route that Velcro goes all the way to the back. There is a motor mechanism on the driver's side we'll show you, and the seat cover needs to route over the top of that electric mechanism on the inside. So goes right over the top, straight to the back. It's the side Velcros. We route those the same way. Okay, so we're going to take that, we're going to fold this in half with the sticky facing in. Okay. And right where it's sewn on, you just poke it straight down. There's a nice gap in the frame down there where, so I'm just going to slide that down in there probably 5 or 6 inches. I'm going to go to the inside one, same thing. I'll fold this in half, and what that does too is it kind of keeps that Velcro from sticking anywhere that you don't want it to. To route this inside Velcro might be easiest if you flip that console up, flip up that bottom. We're just going to take this guy right here, and there's just a big gap right here in the metal. I'm just going to tuck that right through. Okay. All right. Now we'll go to the back side. We're going to come around the back side and locate everything and get it all hooked up. Okay, we're going to reach underneath the seat now. These Velcros, the long ones that come from front to back, I want those things placed on the far outside edge. So here's how we're going to do that. We have that seat cover mostly in position. We're going to pull this down, get it nice and snug. While we're holding that snug, we'll just press that Velcro right to it. Same thing with this side. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull that tight, but pin it, hold it with this hand. Hold it tight, grab that Velcro, connect it. Okay, now we're going to go for the side Velcro. Okay, so this side Velcro we're going to pull down here, pull snug. Okay, we're going to route that Velcro right through the gap in the middle. That's going to come roughly at a 45-degree angle, and it's going to fasten right up to that loop strip we have on the back side. And here's that inside Velcro. Same thing, big gap to route that thing through. I'm going to go ahead and pull that tight. Press that right to the Velcro. This is where we come in with these plastic buckles. The plastic buckles are going to hook over this heavy plastic edge underneath here. To do that, I'm going to just hold the buckle like this, push it up onto the plastic, and pull it onto it. right here. Get that hooked onto that, right there. Then it's going to pull back, connect up to the back edge. I could put about a 5-inch gap between them. That same piece of hardware is underneath the seat. I'm just going to pull that tight, press that to it. I'll come back. I'll trim the excess with scissors. To do that, the best way to do that, instead of trying to just cut it right from here, take your hands and just mark it with your thumb where the top of the Velcro is. Pull that away, cut it off. Then you don't risk cutting anything. Pull that away. Up. You could leave these long if you wanted to. It wouldn't hurt anything. I just like a cleaner presentation. Okay, seat cover bottom is installed. We'll move to the backrest. We'll go to install the driver top. Again, that's going to be marked on the inside right with a DT. And the other pointer is the driver's side always has the label on the back side of the seat. Again, it's important to have that on there. We do make a provision for the airbag, and just like the factory, you saw that with a little tiny breakaway thread. So it's critical to make sure you get the driver top and the passenger top on correctly. Slide that seat all the way forward is going to give you a lot of room to work around behind it. And you'll notice when I'm coming to install this, I have that backrest almost in the straight up position. The long hook Velcros go to the front. So you just kind of want to open that nice and easy. And similar to the headrest, sometimes I'll saw these down into position. Get those things down into it. Okay. Next, we're going to tuck the seat cover fabric under the plastic for the headrest. You want to do so on the push button side first. You don't want to start on this side and go to here. You could damage that button. This side doesn't matter. It doesn't have a push button. Here again now, we're going to work these seams. See what I'm doing? I'm pinching and I'm rolling those seams because I want those seams to be on top of that seat. Where the two pieces of material are sewn together, just makes that corner form just nicely. So I'll step up and I'll just get right down over the top of it on the inside here and pull that into position. Fits really nicely. And then come back over. Same thing on the driver's side. Now pull that down into position there. There we go. That's fitting nice. In order to hold this thing up out of the way, just take the back side of your seat cover up like this and just touch that to it, and that'll hold that thing up out of the way. Next, I'm going to go ahead and tuck the long hook Velcros from the front side of the seat through to the back side. Okay, be very careful. You don't want to be pulling on the Velcro. So don't pull on the Velcro, pull on the cover. As you get those through, here. So I want to make sure that I'm lining up the seams of the seat cover, the seams that are on the seat. Here. Everything's looking good, and I'll come around to the back side and we'll attach those long Velcros. Okay, we're going to route these Velcros under the seat around the metal rod or the wire that our plastic clips hook to. So it's going to go under there, we're going to tighten, we're going to pull that thing forward, and we're going to reconnect that up. The best way to get it around the metal support wire is to take and just fold that thing in half right at the front. I'm just going to take that underneath here. This is right where that thing hooked up. See that right up in there? So I'm going to take this, push it, I'm only pushing it through there a little teeny bit, by ½ inch, just so I can get a hold of it. Now that we have it over through that metal bracket, you can see, it'll compress somewhat, but as you can see, it'll remain fairly flat. So now what I want to do here is I'm going to grab onto this thing with all my might. I'm going to pull that thing down. You can just feel it tightening up in the front. Pull that down hard. Hold it there with this hand. Pull up your slack with this hand. and just press those Velcros together. You notice you have a bunch of excess we can remove there. Okay, we'll do this inside one same way. Just fold up the end just so it goes over that bar easy. Okay, go in. Here's my bar. Actually, just push. All you have to do is just push a little bit through there. Grab it on the back side, pull it down. Okay, now again, pull hard down. Hold it to the seat, pull up your slack, and connect it up to the back side. Let's come around the front side. We'll check and see if we're tight enough. We may have to retighten it. Okay, so we'll recline this a little bit to see it, get it into the position that we're going to be sitting on it in, roughly about there. And I can see it's still just a little bit baggy here. So that just tells me I can kind of gain some more out of it and tighten up these Velcros. I could tighten up the outside one a little and the inside one quite a bit. So again, we're going to tighten those up. Put the backrest to the straight up position, like so. Come around to the back. And I'm just going to loosen that Velcro. Pull down. There, I got another inch out of it, I think. Pull that tight. Reconnect. Same thing with this side. I'm going to just get in here, pull hard. Reconnect, picking up the slack. Now we'll come to the front side. Here, yep, I can already see that tightened up nicely. Get that reclined back into the position that you're going to be driving in. And over time, so we'll find a little bit of bagginess on here when you initially install the covers, but as you have the covers on for a while, this will flex into your seat. It is woven. The Cordura is a woven fabric, so it will lay down into the conformity of your seat. The reason why the factory is able to get everything sucked into your seat, into those edges like so, is because they've actually fastened the original cover to the framework of the seat, is how they get that fastened in there so nicely. Okay, so we'll go ahead and install the headrest back into the seat just by simply reclining the seat, put the headrest back in. Now we'll go ahead and get to the back side, and we're going to connect up the plastic clips. I'm going to go ahead and take the excess length off of here too, so I mark where it's connected to the top of that loop Velcro, pull it away, cut it off. Just make sure you're not cutting any wires or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to mark it at the top, pull it down, snip it where my thumb's at. Next we're going to fasten these plastic hooks back under the seat. And to do so, it's going to go right over the same bar that Velcro for the top went over. The easiest way to do is I put it over that bar, get it to the front of that Velcro, so I'm pushing up, and I pull back with this hand. Pull it right over that Velcro. Okay? So I'm going under, I'm feeling where the Velcro is connected here. And if you get lost when you're working on one side or the other, just go over to the other side. Say, for instance, go to the passenger side and look where they're connected if you lose to where they're connected. So here again, we're going to route this under the seat. There's where the plastic clip goes. This one with the electric controls is a little tight on this side to get in there, so just bear with it and you'll get it on there. There we go. We're connected. Now that that's done, we're going to connect this hook Velcro to the fuzzy carpet that's on the back side of your seat. So in doing so, I'm going to pull down, make sure you get it centered, and these will actually fold around the corners on the outside and connect. This will fold around too. I'm going to grab onto the bottom, tighten it, and press it to it. That's all there is to it.
Alright, so now we're going to install the middle bottom. We can tell it's the middle bottom because you can see the MB right here. The MB obviously goes to the back. We've got these strips of Velcro here. You can see some that are folded in half. We don't want those folded in half, so let's undo those. Okay. So then we're going to take it, we're going to flip it down on here. I'm going to start trying to form it to the seat. All right. And then, just like everything else, you're going to want to make sure that you're following the seams of the seat with the seams of the seat cover itself. Alrighty, so now we've got these long hook velcros sitting here on the front. What you're going to want to do is fold those in half. Okay, stiffens them right on up. And we're going to take it. You can see there's a space right here. You're pretty much going to shove them back right where they're sewn on. Same with this side. Okay. Alrighty. And then you'll see these side hook velcros. These, you'll just tuck down the side, and there'll be a gap. You just want to shove them up underneath that gap. See a little bit of that. Okay, now you'll see this here in the back. I'm going to take that, shove it in between your console and the middle bottom itself. Alrighty, now we'll go ahead and move the back. Alright, so now we're at the back side of it, and we can see this, what we had pushed through. Okay, we pull on that a little bit. I'm going to set it right there, because we still have to connect those little velcros underneath. As you can see, after reaching underneath there, I found one of the ones that I had shoved underneath there. And give it a little bit of a tug. You don't want to pull too tight, otherwise you'll rip your velcro off. You just paste it right there onto the back of there. See if I can find the other one. There it is. Okay. Straighten it out. There we go. Alright. So this down here, I might have a hard time seeing it. This is kind of where we shoved that Velcro, the side Velcro in. Okay, and so it should tuck behind here. You should be able to reach for it down here. Give it a good little tug just like before. Paste it right up here. Okay. Okay. Now you want to take this, give it a real swift tug, just paste it right down there. There we go. See how the front looks. Alrighty, so as you can see, it's nice, it's smooth. This particular customer wanted the middle bottom pocket on the front of their cover here.
And we'll move on to the console. I'll carefully open the back side of the console with the Velcros on it, on the left and the Alright, we're going to open those up. I'm going to slide that cover on. The big 3 drink holder opening goes to the top. Okay. And it works pretty good if you get right over the top of it. You can kind of pull down on it pretty good. Again, with all of them, we're going to want to work that seam to the outside. So I'm going to go in here and I'm pinching on that seam. I want that seam to go out here where the 2 pieces of material are sewn together. I want that to the middle. Same thing where the top is where the drink holders go. Okay. This guy is going to tuck underneath here in the plastic. Okay. That's going to pull down nicely. See? Tucks underneath there. This tucks behind the plastic. Alright, now that we have that in there, let's go ahead and tuck that forward. Then I'll just go to the back edge and I'm just going to lift up on it. And that's just going to really, that just basically seats that whole thing in there. Okay. The cover is going to tuck underneath the front side here. It does not tuck on the top, but it's going to wrap around to the side. Then we just connect these Velcros. You want to make sure that the tops end up flush. Got it on that side. Going to come around to this side. Going to hook this Velcro and pull back and hook up that Velcro. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is kind of just make sure you're lined up at the top so the tops come flush on that. So we're going to lift this lid up. And that'll kind of enable our center Velcros to pop through. Now the critical part to this installation, there's an extra piece of Velcro we send with you. The critical part to this installation is making sure you have this back edge pulled up far enough, okay? You have to pull this back edge up high enough to get these corner pieces up high enough so they don't try to release every time you lift it back and forth. And where that is, okay, you're going to slide your hand down the console, trying to gain up as much slack as you can get, okay? And you just got to make sure that this right here, that this cloth line meets this cloth line almost to the plastic here. Okay, so if you're putting it on there and you have this much showing, you're not up far enough. So you're going to pull that up, gain all the slack that you can here so that meets this edge. Okay. Okay. Next, we're going to prepare the surface of the plastic with rubbing alcohol for those 2 Velcros that went through the hinge. The way to do that is just with a paper towel, pull that inside to where that's going to lay. Then that's where you have to clean. So the way you do that is you scrub it hard while it's wet, then wipe it dry while it's still wet. What that does is it loosens up all that residue and it removes it while it's still wet. If you let it dry on there, it'll just leave the residue. Scrub it hard when it's wet, wipe it dry. If they don't stick right away, you're going to have to re-clean these areas with soapy water and then again with the rubbing alcohol to get them to stick. Okay, so I got that guy pulled up far enough. Go ahead and peel the Velcro off. Go ahead, peel the Velcro off, place it right into the cavity. Okay, gain your slack. These Velcros will only withstand about 10 pounds of pressure, so you can't really get too much pressure on these or you will pull them off. Ideal temperature is at 68 degrees. So if you have the opportunity, if you're in a cold climate, if you can put these on inside where it's warmer, that will help a lot. Once you get them in place, push really hard onto the plastic. Make sure that those seat. Okay. You know, it's catching right here. I'm going to move this one up a little bit. There we go. So once it sticks up far enough up under there, it don't catch. Okay. There we got her going. Okay. Next, we'll install the console lid. So just carefully take loose the Velcros from it, and I just kind of keep them laid out. Keep them laid out and open, so they're not connecting to anything. Out. Then what I do just in one motion is I'm going to flip this thing around with the Velcros out and lay it over the top. Now what I do is I use my body to kind of hold on the corner. So I'm going to tuck it over the back corner. I can use my knee to hold it in there. Put the other back corner in. I'm using my knee to hold that one. And we're going to tuck it right over the front. Alright. So these Velcros can be really tight. And that's what I do. So I'll hold on one end to the other and really pull those down tight. Get them fitting really good. Okay, pull that all the way down to the edge. Okay. Nice. Pull this one, hold it, press it down. Okay. Now we've got our front to backs. We can run a couple through the hinge here. So let's move our hinge up a little bit. Run these through. Again, best way to put these on is to hold at one end and the other. Just pull tight. Press them together. One way here. Grab onto the ends. Pull tight. Press them together. Got that. We'll go for the back one.